Today we have the one and only Shannon Ryan joining us for a sit-down chat to find out a little bit more about you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here and sit down and have this conversation with you.
I'm really pleased because I'm happy too. So jumping straight in, Shannon, I think one of the reasons I really wanted to have an opportunity to have this conversation is because there's so much that probably like the boxing public and the public at large don't know about you. So this is an opportunity for us to get into it, really. Why don't you tell us your boxing record, your boxing name, and who you're signed to?
Yeah, so my boxing record is 10 wins, 1 loss. And it was that one loss that I had was such a learning curve for me in my boxing career. Plus all the 10 wins that I've had, like I feel like I've grown so much in all of those 11 fights that I've had. My boxing name is called Chaos. And my dad gave me that when I was 5 years old because I was just erratic when I was little and I used to fight.
Just when you were little, or?
I would say I've changed over the years, but that name has stuck with me ever since because that's who I am as a fighter. And then
so
I'm
you
Shannon.
sort of embodied that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm Shannon outside the ropes and then Chaos inside the ropes because I just feel like I've come into this boxing scene and just caused chaos because who was this girl that's just come into boxing when I started. And I'm signed to Matchroom Eddie Hearn.
Okay, cool. And you're managed by 258 Management?
Managed by 258, yes.
Sponsored by O2?
Sponsored by O2, yes.
Yeah, so you've already succeeded so much more than, probably a lot of people who kind of had your journey into boxing have done. And that's a testament, really. But we'll get into all of the nitty gritty. Let's go back right to the start. You come from a fighting background, but it wasn't boxing. Who made Shannon Chaos?
That would be my dad. And, I got to give him a lot of credit because at 5, you don't really have a say yourself of what route or where you're going to go. And I feel like my parents, especially my dad, because that was his job, put me down the route of kickboxing. So that's what he done. He started off taekwondo and then opened up a kickboxing gym when I was born. And from 5 years old, me and my sisters, we would train kickboxing, go to school, go to the gym, go to school, go to the gym. And that's all I know until 28 years to this day. My body and my mind, I don't know anything else. And that's where I believe like my discipline and my hard work ethic and just striving for success comes from such a young age because like I said, I don't know anything else. Started kickboxing and that type of kickboxing was called sport karate. So a bit like tag. So you score a point, you stop, you go again. So a lot of people don't really understand it when they watch it. But for me, it was my love, it was my passion. And the only reason that I kind of like went to boxing is 1, because I love fighting, but 2, the sport of kickboxing, you can't make a career from it. There's no Olympics. And for me, I was like, I want to fight and I want to be able to make money from what I do. And I'm an entertainer and I love to entertain people and I have since young. And, I've always said in another life, I would be a dancer and a singer, even though I can't dance or sing.
I can actually confirm that in her, quiet times away from the cameras, she does do a lot of dancing and singing to friends and family.
To walk out to Tottenham Stadium to 90,000 people, or the capacity, to stand up there, sing and dance, that would be a dream for me. But in this life, I can do that, not to 90,000 people, in another life.
Or yet.
But my way of performing is boxing. Hats off to my dad and my mum, because like I said, they installed the fight in me from young and kept me on that path till this day.
A lot of what you just said, I really want to break down because, as you were talking about or describing that you've come home from school, you'd go to the gym. It just made me think about like my childhood where obviously, my family weren't in the sports world in that way. So I would come back from school, you know, I'd be in front of the TV, maybe playing some video games, like messing around with my cousins. And it's really interesting to me because something about you that I have always like really admired is your level of professionalism. Like my mum makes a joke that Shannon is like an iron because she's just very, you know,
pristine.
You're pristine. Yeah, you're pristine. You like to stay, you like to colour in the lines. Do you know what I mean? It's really fascinating to me when I think about the mentality of a young girl who comes home from school, doesn't have time to do all of that, and is straight in the gym. Do you think, and how much do you think that has made you who you are today?
Sometimes I think, is this too much? Or, you know, I had a childhood. I can't say I didn't have a childhood, but all I've done since 5, all through school or college, is literally go to the gym. On weekends, my friends would go out, for example, and they would say, oh, we're going out, do you want to come? And I'd be like, oh, I've got a tournament, or I'm flying to this place for a tournament. Like my weekends were traveling to Europe to compete. I didn't really have the nightlife. I didn't really have the let's go out. It's very rare that I could kind of like do that. So there was a lot of time in my life as well when I was growing up, and that would kind of make me feel down, or I would get upset or emotional. But I always looked at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture for me is what will give me my freedom in life. And that is, my thoughts were kickboxing. But then when I started working and I went over to boxing, boxing is what allows me to have my freedom in this world.
I hear you say this a lot about the freedom that it gives you, and I want to move on to that. But before I do, one thing we always hear from boxers is they talk about this like big sacrifice that they make through the camps and through training and things like that, and how difficult it is. Do you think potentially, as an adult now, as a professional boxer and as an adult, because that's all you've known, it's made the sacrifice you make in your adult life a bit easier, a bit more manageable?
Yeah, I definitely would say easier and manageable for sure. But I can't lie that there has been times where I'm like, can I go this way a little bit? But I'm like, where I'm in boxing, I've taken that loss, but I've also had wins. I've had highs, I've had lows. There is no room to go left. I'm only going to go right and all the way up, because one small mistake, one left way that I go, the boxing is crazy, man. Like, I just can't afford to slip up. Being able to wake up and do what I love, being able to have my hours in the day doing what I love, being able to use my day to make multiple streams of income, for example, for my future family, and just being happy. I think the life that we have is it goes so quick, so quick. And I think it is important to do what you want to do every single day.
And in terms of obviously sticking on this whole notion of like freedom and doing the thing that you love, how did it feel for you? Because I remember that moment where you left your job at the O2 and you became a full-time athlete because you managed to get the sponsorship.
Yeah.
How was that moment for you? How did that feel?
Surreal. Like, that was, you remember them times we'd text, I'd call you. Firstly, big up to O2, because they are, one, a fantastic company to work for. They were my first ever job. And two, the support that they have given me since partnering with me, and even at work when I used to go to training, but more importantly in my role of being a professional boxer, the support that they've given me is literally like unmatched. I don't think I would have improved 10 times the speed that I have if I was still working, training. I've been able to train, rest and recover, train. And I think that's what kind of goes amiss, is like how important rest and recovery is. But yeah, that day when I handed in my notice was a sad time, because I loved my job. But then to be able to go on to another job that I absolutely love and I've put my whole life into, even though it was a different sport to begin with, just felt like all the hard work has literally paid off, because without O2, I wouldn't be where I am now, or the freedom that I've always strived for or wanted.
Let's talk a little bit about this O2 sponsorship, because from my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're the only individual athlete that's sponsored by O2.
Correct.
Right? Because they sponsor the rugby.
Yeah.
Tell the people how you got, because this story is magnificent. Tell the people how you got the sponsorship.
So I used to work with one colleague, and so I started as a Christmas temp and I worked my way up to an assistant manager. But when I was a Christmas temp, I was new to the job, but the people that I had there were like such cool people, such cool friends. And then as I was working my way up, I had another guy there that was my friend, and he then got a job at head office. So I was like, I'm the only one here now. Like, but I was the assistant manager. I was doing a really, really good job. And there was just one time I was like, over the course of time, the thoughts were there, but I was just like, I've always been into manifesting, writing, journaling. And I was like, you can really get anything you want in life if you work hard, trust the process, and believe that it's yours. And I was like, right, what do I need to be able to elevate myself and box? And I was like, money. That's the reality. I was like, right, what do I do? So I asked my friend who works in head office if he could find me the head of sponsorships email, because I was like, I feel like I've got quite a good, I don't know if it's like a business head, but I was like, how can this work for both of us as a company and as Shannon Ryan coming together? And in my head, I was like, this would be wonderful if it worked. And I sent an email, and obviously back then I've done a lot of growing, but back then my email was ChatGPT was that the one? He wasn't here. So it was all from me. And I sent this lengthy email of, I'm signed to AJ, and I think it was a bit attitude-y, to be fair. Again, I've grown a lot. And the head of sponsorship somehow saw that email and he got back to me. What I loved about the head of sponsorship, Gareth, he said, I'm interested in you, Shannon Ryan, and not anything else you said in that email. And
so
I
it was Gareth.
Like,
that was, okay, nice.
And I was like, wow. Because back then, I hadn't even had my first fight. In my mind, I'm like, right, I've got to give this my all because I can't let you down. You've come on board and you're backing me since before I've had a fight. And for me, like, I can't thank them enough. And I would do anything I can to make them proud and to become a world champion and to really just keep putting O2/Shannon Ryan's name on the map.
Well, do you know what? I have to say, like, I see Gareth at every single one of your fights, and he is, there ringside rooting for you. And I had no idea. Obviously I've met Gareth, you've introduced us. I had no idea that was the head of sponsorship who you were emailing. That's amazing. But so, yeah, it must feel so validating and affirming that he's rooted for you from before the time that you were even a boxer, and now 11 fights later, he's still there ringside, championing you. Which brings me on to talking about sort of something you mentioned, which is this cohesion between yourself and O2 and having that branding. Branding is something that's always been really important to you. Talk me through like your thoughts around why that branding is so important to you.
The logo that I have, the SR, when I look back, again, it's manifesting and writing down and journaling. I did that logo with the help of someone else, I think when I was an amateur, because I didn't kind of look into the business side of boxing. I just kind of feel like it was already, not the business side of boxing was ingrained in me, but just knowing that you have to market yourself and brand, I just feel like that was something that was already in my brain before I turned pro. So because I feel like I knew that how important the branding of me and O2 is via social media, when I'm my fight kits. But branding is so important because you are the product, and how you sell yourself is on you, your promoter, and the people that sponsor you, basically. So I just think it is so important, and to really understand and look into it, I think anyone in boxing should do that.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially in this day and age. But it also speaks to, how strong a branding you had as an individual, because you didn't have a massive amateur pedigree. No. Tell us what you did in the amateurs, so we can highlight how impressive it is to how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, I think that one makes me laugh as well. So I started off Finchley ABC, but the Finchley back then was in the Alliance. So you could never do the elites because it wasn't in England boxing. So I can't remember exactly how many fights I had there, but maybe 6 or 7. And then we moved over to IQ Boxing Gym in Neasden because it was an England boxing gym. And I didn't know that you had to, I knew you had to declare your fights, but because mine was kickboxing and it wasn't boxing, it was stop-start. So I I had to learn to punch hard. I had to learn to go through and that sort of stuff. So I didn't declare any fights because it was a completely different sport. So I've gone in, I think I had a fight, I won that. But then another gym must have looked me up and said, she needs to declare all her fights. I had so many in kickboxing. So that automatically put me, is it the elites? It put me into the top highest category as an amateur.
Yeah.
I beat a girl from Repton, which was awesome. And then that put me into the final. And the girl that I was fighting in the final, I was like, everyone raves about her. She did a bit on GB. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm about to do. And then, but back then I would only eat a flapjack. I wouldn't fuel myself. It was very much, let's wing this. And I ended up beating the top girl. Mm-hmm. And then I was then training to go on to do the elites. And then obviously COVID happened. And that's when we looked at turning pro.
Turning over. So your pro journey, it's been, you know, sensation after sensation, really. You had your pro debut on Sky Sports, under the Boxer banner, although not signed specifically to Boxer, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And you had a series of fights, I believe 4 or 5 fights with Sky Sports.
Four fights, yeah.
And then you had your Matchroom debut after getting signed to Matchroom, and that was on DAZN.
Yeah.
All the fights were really incredible. Tell me about, because obviously one thing you're really known for, I think, is like you put so much effort and thought into your like fight kits and your walkout music, and it does speak to the branding side of things as well. But how do you manage to stay creative with all these fight kits?
I don't know, because I'm like, I personally think they're getting better each time, and it is just, I work on how I feel and the emotions I'm feeling at that time. And I think if I look at each fight kit, if I look at them, I know the story and I know the feelings of each fight kit. And I just play, I might just be sat in the bath and I'll be scrolling through Instagram and I'll go, that's the one. I might see, for example, a colour or a pattern, like my last kit, the red snake. I think it was, we had a vision of the colour. And then I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks, I messaged Ollie and I was like, let's do this. And he was able to get it done in that time. But it literally is, I will work on how I feel and what I've seen in the moment.
So it's a very intuitive process. Yeah. Would you say?
Same with the music.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. Yeah, it's the same with the music.
If you look at the start of my career to now, it's sad, getting there. And then my last walkout, I come up to Kano.
Yeah.
And I just think that speaks volumes of me as an individual. Like I would say I'm an emotional person. Mm-hmm. Do I show that? Not so much. But I think, again, that can speak through how I've shown up in an interview or the music that I've used or the music I put on my stories. Like, I think if people pay close attention, what I do speaks on how I'm feeling as a person. And I think it has been a roller coaster, but a roller coaster that I'm here for.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about obviously you had a series of fights, had your Matchroom debut where you fought against a European champion in the weight below.
Yeah. Cracking
performance. Definitely, I think, was still not, I don't think maybe one of my favorites, but it's in the top 5, I would say. And you put on such a performance. Like, it was your show womanship. I was going to say manship, but show womanship really came across.
That was the youngest Shannon.
Yeah.
India, yeah.
We had obviously the loss against Emma Dolan. Mm-hmm. You've always spoken about it as something that you needed as part of your progression and your journey and how it made you better and stronger. But aside from all the positives that came out of it, in the very moment when Emma's hand was raised, what was, if you can remember, what were some of the first thoughts and feelings that you had in that moment?
What am I going to do? Am I going to stay on this platform? Where do I go from here? What's the point? Who am I? Why did I do that? Like all of them kind of like negative self all on me. Like, I took so much accountability from that fight. But there was so many positives to take away from it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think very natural that your initial reaction, it would be weird, honestly. It'd be kind of inhuman and strange if you were like, oh, okay, that's fine. Shows you care, right?
100%.
And you made a lot of changes following that. You changed teams. You're now working under Aaron Woodcock at Intent Boxing, where obviously your strength and conditioning is based out of there as well, Neon Samuels. Talk to me about this team setup. You guys... You've had 2 or 3 fights together now?
3 now.
3 now, yeah. You guys look like you gel so well. There just seems to be so much like unity and cohesion in the corners. I think Aaron, from what I've seen, has such a great approach with you.
Yeah.
Talk us through that.
Yeah, firstly, Aaron is phenomenal. Like, he's fantastic as a man, a coach, a trainer, a teacher, a friend. And I think it's a fantastic matchup. And I think I'm a fighter that if you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it, because where my dad was my coach before, and obviously that was many years ago, which I don't think people can coach their fighters like that anymore. I think people would leave. But if I'm told to do something, I'll do it. You tell me to jab, I'm going to jab. You do a combo, I'll do a combo. Sometimes I listen too quick. I need to set up what I'm doing. But yeah, Aaron's great. That setup, again, yes, came after my loss. And I just think I've come on leaps and bounds, but not just with my boxing. I think as an individual and as a woman as well. I think Aaron says the same. I think he'll tell me how I was before once I'd met him, and then he tells me how I am now. And we're both just so proud of, one, me and how far I've come, but both of us together on where we are now.
And where you're going.
And where we're going.
Where you're headed.
Yeah.
Which brings me around nicely to what, if you could summarize for us your top 2 or 3 ambitions in boxing, what would they be?
To become a world champion. And I think the next one is to just try and kind of be a voice for other girls out there. If there is something negative going on, how do you change your mindset to look at everything that things happen for a reason, or trying to find a positive even when a negative thing is happening? And the reason why I'm so passionate about that is because I think I'm a product of that. Everything that you see in my life now, I really have wrote it down or thought about it, let it go, trust the process. And I just really want to just kind of get that out there from my platform. But for me to do that, I want to become a world champion. I want to grow my following. I want to grow as a person to be able to help other people, because that's what I like and want to do.
And it's what you've done as well. Like, you definitely are a product of that. I remember, some years ago, you were talking to me about manifesting, and I would be like,
what is it?
I'd be like, okay, sure. And I'd question you. I remember I used to question you a lot and be like, yeah, but then what if this thing that you've written doesn't work? Then what is that? And over time, you sort of explained it to me in such a way, and I saw how it happened in your life. And trust me, I've got my my pen and my notepad at home doing my own manifestation. So you definitely are a product of that. And yeah, what great ambitions to have in the sport of boxing as well. So before we kind of go into a more personal segment, I
thought that was personal.
No, it was. No, it was personal in a different way, unboxing related. I want to talk about the Chloe Watson fight, because that was the last fight that you had. You won emphatically. It was a fantastic performance. It got stopped in sort of a frustrating and unfortunate way through head clash. Chloe's eye swelled up and they called it off, but after the 4th round. How was that experience for you?
So annoying. It was good in the sense of the 4 rounds. Yes, I won the 4 rounds, but everything that we'd done in camp just was there in front of my eyes. And I was like, huh? And I said to Aaron before I even went into that fight, I said, I've just got things I need to prove to myself. So there was a round where he was like, right, stop putting your backhand behind. And I said, I will in a bit. I said, I just need to just see a few more things. When I was getting to the backhand, the head clash happened, which was very annoying, because no, we don't want to do overtime, and no, potentially if I'd have got my backhand in there when Aaron said, could I have stopped her? We don't know. But irrespective of that, I know I put things in my head to bed. And the 4 rounds that I boxed were beautiful against a top girl. So yes, a head clash did happen, but things happen for a reason. I got the job done. On to the next.
What things did you put to bed?
Just things that Aaron has shown me. It's a new system. It's a new training system that we're doing. And to be able to control someone else by what you're doing and to see that unfold in front
real
of me.
time as well.
And not just someone holding the pads or kind of, because to me, sparring's different. Once you've got them small gloves on and no head guard, to me, it is a different fight. And I put those to bed.
I think that we've got a fantastic picture of you as a boxer. I want the public to know more about you as a person outside of the ring. So, favourite colour?
Blue.
Favourite animal?
A lion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that
How
about
powerful.
you. Yeah, very powerful.
I didn't know that too until now.
So you asked me that question.
But that's what would come to my head. Like,
Yeah, a lion.
I'm not really an animal
Person.
lover.
That's why I asked you the question. Because
Yeah.
I thought, I don't even know her favourite animal.
But if you were to, I would say, yeah, a lion.
A lion. Okay,
Yeah.
I see that. Favourite thing to watch on TV?
Oh,
Can I answer?
yeah, go ahead.
Emmerdale?
No.
Coronation Street. Okay, sorry.
He says I'm Corrie.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, you're a Corrie girl.
Yeah, I am.
My bad.
But do you know what? To my defence, do you know what I really do like?
Don't need
about...
to defend your decision.
No, I do, because there's going to be a lot of people going at me. I am 28, watching EastEnders and Corrie. But what I do like is they do actually put real life scenarios that happen. Why are you laughing?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
They're putting they are actually putting real life scenarios into the episodes, and they're just acting it out, like phone usage and horrible stuff happening, bullies online and all of that sort of stuff. So
Big up Corrie and EastEnders. Yeah. Favourite thing to do when you're not in camp?
Favourite thing to do when I'm not in camp, thinking about my next camp. Going for food. Do you know what? I don't feel like I actually do much outside of boxing. But I would say going for food, seeing my friends. Do you know what? I actually really do want to do like a one-on-one dance and do like a dance diaries type thing. You know?
Keep me posted with how that goes.
Yeah.
Get that body roll.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say, yeah, just being me, relaxing, eating, ice cream.
Yeah. Favourite camp meal?
Oh, the last one that I had was, I'm really good at using an air fryer because you've got to get it right on the temperatures and the oil and stuff. So I would say chicken in the air fryer.
It's chicken breast, 190 with 20 minutes, she told
Don't
me the other
tell
day.
them.
Sorry.
What's that veg that I've been having?
Cauliflower?
No, it's orange.
Carrots?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no.
An orange veg?
And it's...
Pumpkin?
no, it's not
Squash?
sweet potato.
Sweet, no.
No. Sweet. I'm going to have to come back on that one.
We'll come back. That's fine.
But with some rice.
Okay.
But it's the veg that does it.
Best thing about camp?
Oh, the best thing about camp would be seeing your mindset change as the camp goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be the best thing about camp, is just seeing your body transform and your mind transform over that 8 to 11 weeks time.
Yeah. Worst thing about camp?
Air bike.
No hesitation. The air
Neon
bike.
Samuels.
Yeah, Neon.
Air bike.
Favourite clothing brand?
Oh. Do you know what? I don't have a favourite clothing brand because I feel like I'm not at the place yet to shop where I would want to shop.
Fair.
But I would say clothing, I would go on ASOS. They have loads of different brands on ASOS. And I feel like my style has changed over time. But I like sophisticated, sometimes quirky, but I can't give you a brand.
Fair. That's okay. If you could take one thing to an island, item, not person, because I know you'd take me. Sorry, Jack. If you could take one thing to an island, what would it be?
One thing to an island would be...
If you say your air fryer.
No, I'd just get the fish out of the sea.
Good.
You know, like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't swim to them though. I'd just wait till they come to the shore. One thing I would take to an island, I'm going to go to an island where there's no phone signal because we don't need the phone, too much phone at the moment. A book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
A book and a journal.
Okay.
So that's 2 things.
2 things, fine. All right. Best piece of advice you've ever received?
Live in the present, and I feel like that's something I don't do. I feel like in my personal life, I live a lot in the past. And in my boxing life, I feel like I live too much in the future. So I would say it would be just live in the present day and enjoy every single moment because we're not getting the moments back.
2026 resolution sounds like.
Big up Aaron Woodcock.
Yes. All the advice I've given you over the years just right over the head, but that's fine. One piece of advice you could give your younger self.
Just dream big, baby girl. I would say just life is hard, life is challenging, and not everybody is a nice person. No one is like you. Do what you want to do, and when you are getting them pushbacks or them no's, you should keep fighting. Only you've got your back.
I love that. That's really cool. Okay, so the last segment is rate my takes. So I've got a bunch of statements. They're not my opinion. They're not my personal opinion. I don't want to take any credit for them, but I need you to rate them. Is it a hot take or a cold take? So if you like it, it's a hot take. If you don't like it, it's a cold take.
Oof.
Yeah. Again, I want to state, not my personal opinion. So strength beats skill in boxing.
Cold take.
Yeah. I was like, what?
No, I was remembering the hot take or cold and what they were.
Yeah. Sparring every day is necessary.
Cold take.
Yeah. Footwork matters more than punching power.
Hot take.
Losing early in your career is better than staying undefeated for too long.
Cold take.
Most fighters become champions before they ever get the belt because of their mentality.
Say that one again, sorry.
Most fighters become champions before they ever get their championship belt because of their mentality.
Hot take.
A fighter/boxer's biggest opponent is usually themselves.
Hot take.
Boxers are better athletes than most other pro athletes.
Cold take.
Really?
What, a boxer's a better athlete than another athlete?
Yeah, but a boxer is a better athlete than another pro athlete.
Yeah, you've seen some of them boxers.
Wow. The hardest part about boxing is dieting.
Cold take.
A good jab can win more fights than a good chin.
Hot take.
Retiring at the right time is harder than winning a world title.
Middle take.
Middle take. In the neutral corner, she has a neutral take.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, that was my last one of the takes. Is there anything else you want to say or talk about before we close up?
No, I would just like to say, just everyone that's followed my journey from the beginning and are still here now, I just want to thank you all. To O2, I want to thank you. To 258 Management, I want to thank you. And to Aaron, Neon and Intent Boxing Gym, I want to thank you. To Melissa Zad, I want to thank you. And to all my friends, my mum and dad, and Jack, I love you all lots.
Thank you for that. And if you could leave the fans with one final message, maybe a piece of wisdom, a gem, before the final bell rings, what would it be?
Trust the process.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. I've had a wonderful time speaking to Shannon Ryan. I hope you have had as well.